Real African stories and real African experiences. This is the Legally Clueless video series. And in this episode, Dola shares how she discovered that she had a life-changing health condition.
It all started 6 years ago in 2015. The month was July, and I started experiencing unexplained weight loss despite high food intake. Then my hair fell, and I also had palpitations. Palpitations are rapid heartbeat, and coupled with that, I also experienced frequent bowel movement, which means that after every meal, I would go to the toilet, and it was a very tough time. I would sweat profusely. I had tremors. My hands would shake, and I also had intolerance to heat. I had very bad mood swings that eventually led to depression. And most nights, I would not sleep. I had severe insomnia. And these symptoms went on for a while. I didn't know what was happening to me, but I didn't take them very seriously because I had just resigned from my job and I was very stressed. So I thought that probably what I was going through was the aftermath of a very stressful job that was very high pressure, and the working environment was very toxic. But when I didn't get better the following month, especially with regards to the depression, I talked to my husband. He could see what I was going through, and we all agreed that I should check into hospital. So I went to Mater Hospital. I went into the casualty, and I was able to see a doctor there, a very young doctor. So I presented myself to him, and I explained to him what I was going through and when the symptoms started. And he told me that he would send me to the lab and to also do some x-rays before he could ascertain what was wrong with me. So I was sent for a blood test, a stool test, an HIV test. I also had some x-rays to be done. So after he wrote all that down, I started with the HIV testing. I went through counseling, and the test was done. Then I went to the lab, had the samples removed for stool and blood. Then I also had the x-rays done. Then I waited for a bit. When the results were out, I got all the reports, and this took almost the entire day. Then I went back to the reports to the doctor. He looked at them, and he told me they were all negative. And I told him, how can that be? Because I know myself, and I'm not well. And he asked me, are you stressed? I said, I am very stressed. And I told him I'd just left my job, and the circumstances surrounding the resignation were not easy. What I went through at my workplace, and I told him, yes, I'm down. I'm feeling quite low. And he told me, I think you should go for counseling. Then he asked me, the weight loss, are you eating well? And I said, I am eating very well. In fact, I have an increased appetite. So he told me, what is your meal plan? He asked me, what is your meal plan? What did you eat yesterday? And I explained to him. And he told me, you go home, then we'll see you in another 2 weeks. And I told him, no. I insisted, because my sixth sense was telling me all was not well. So because of my persistence, he told me, okay, fine, I will send you to another doctor in the consultative clinic. Probably you can see him in another 2-3 days, and he can give you a second opinion. So he sent me to a gastroenterologist. That's a doctor who deals with digestive disorders, because I think his assumption was, he was focusing more on the weight loss. I think his assumption was probably I have a malfunctioning along my gut that requires to be checked out. So with all my reports, I went home feeling quite disappointed and even more stressed. So after 2 days, I went back to Mata, to the consultative clinic, because I had booked an appointment with the gastroenterologist. And when I went in, again, I presented myself and explained to him what I was going through, the symptoms, and I told him I had been there 2 days earlier and had done several tests. And then he told me that he would send me for an endoscopy. So before he actually sent me for the endoscopy, just as a by the way, he asked me, did you do a thyroid profile? And I said, yes, I did a thyroid profile as well. In addition to the stool, the blood, the HIV, which were all negative, yes, I did a thyroid profile. And he asked me, where is it? And I said, I think it's the one on top. And just one glance at that report, he turned at me and he asked me, but I think it's right here. You have hyperthyroidism. And I asked him, what is that? He told me, I will explain to you later. Then he asked me, has your hair fallen? I said, yes. And I removed my wig. And there was a big patch right here. And he told me, I think you have hyperthyroidism. I'm not the right doctor. And I will send you to the doctor that is meant for your condition, and you also have to book an appointment. He's called the doctor for your condition who deals with hormonal issues is known as an endocrinologist. But you need to book another appointment to see him probably next week, because he's also here at the consultative clinic, and you can only see him based on an appointment. In the meantime, I'll give you some medication to ease some of the symptoms before you get to see him. Then he asked me, are you having mood swings? Are you fighting everybody around? I told him it's been crazy. I've told him I have been fighting my husband, I have been fighting my sister, things that I've never done before. Then he told me, don't worry, it shall be well. You go home, take this medication that I have prescribed. By the time you come to see the doctor, you'll feel better. So I went home with the medication, started the medication right away. And when I booked an appointment before I left, so the day of the appointment, I came. I was actually feeling much better. So when I got to the endocrinologist, I again explained to him from where it started, and that doctor had seen at Casualty who failed to give me the right diagnosis. And it was because of my persistence that I ended up seeing another doctor who now eventually sent me to the correct doctor to make the correct diagnosis. So in between, there was also a learning there that, a misdiagnosis is very easy, especially when you have symptoms of a disease or an illness that mirror so many others. A misdiagnosis is very easy, and you must be very, you mustn't be ignorant. You must be very aware of your body. When things are not going on well, you must be very alert, all those warning signs that things are not right. And I think my persistence for a second opinion saved my life. Probably I would not be here today to give this story. So he looked at the profile, the thyroid profile, and those hormones were very, very high. My condition is known as hyperthyroidism. Hyperthyroidism means that I have a hyperactive thyroid. Now, the thyroid gland produces hormones that regulate or control your body's metabolism. All your body's functions depend on your thyroid gland. That means your heartbeat, temperature regulation, protein synthesis, regulates the amount of calcium in your blood. So if your thyroid is not functioning well, it means that you'll actually be sick, because if it is hyper, it means there's an overproduction of these hormones, and every function in your body is accelerated. The opposite of hyperthyroidism is hypothyroidism, which means your thyroid gland is underactive. So it's not producing the correct amount of thyroid that is required to regulate your body's metabolism. And that is why I got to understand the symptoms that I explained to you at the beginning. That's why I had palpitations, very rapid heartbeat because of the increased metabolism due to an excess of the hormones. I had palpitations. I was losing weight because the metabolism is very, very fast. I had the frequent bowel movement, always going to the toilet after every meal. I was sweating profusely. I had intolerance to heat because of these excessive hormones. So he told me, you go and Google more, and I'll walk this journey with you. I'll give you medication, and we will see you the following week. Then I went home with a cocktail of medicine. I think I would take, at the beginning, I would take almost 20 tablets in a day. The medication was quite heavy. When I went back for the next appointment, now I had lost my coordination. I couldn't write. I couldn't drive my kids to school. So we hired a driver, and my house help, who was a day bag, who would come and go, now started staying in. Life changed for my entire family, for us, for myself and my entire family and my daughters, who were pretty young at that moment. When they would see their mother, who was very active and on top of things and in charge, quite helpless, no energy, muscle weakness, fatigue. It was difficult. So when I went in for the next appointment, the symptoms, most of them had gone down. Weight had I think I gained 1 kilo, because weight loss was excessive at the beginning. I think I lost 20 kilos. I lost 20 kilos, and hyperthyroidism, because of the high metabolism, you eat a lot. Despite the weight loss, you have an increased appetite. So I continued eating. So with the medication, the weight came back. The excessive sweating eased kidogo. Tremors were still there because now I didn't have coordination. So we had to seek the help of a chiropractor. So in addition to the endocrinologist, I started seeing a chiropractor to twitch my nerves so that I would get my coordination back. In addition to that, my endocrinologist also advised that I would seek the help of a counselor to take care of my depression. So in a week, I was seeing 3 doctors. I was seeing the endocrinologist to take care of the thyroid. I was seeing a chiropractor to take care of my nerves so that I could get my coordination back, and I was seeing a counselor. So I continued with these 3 specialists. My husband took some time away, and he stood by me, and I would go for my appointments with him. He was with me through the counseling until the sessions came to an end. I continued with the other 2 doctors, the endocrinologist and the chiropractor. I got my coordination back. I could write once more. I could go about my activities. And then I was left with the endocrinologist. So as time went by, he told me we need to find out what is causing there's something that must be. Hyperthyroidism has a trigger. There's something that could have triggered it, and we need to identify what the trigger is. So I was sent for some scans, and hypothyroidism can be triggered by various conditions. So mine is caused by a condition known as Graves' disease. Graves' disease is an autoimmune disorder, and whereby my immune system produces antibodies that attack my thyroid gland or stimulates my thyroid gland to produce excess hormones. So Graves is a lifetime disease. So I think my disorder is for life. That is something I had to accept, and I'm on medication for life. There are various ways of treating hyperthyroidism. There's medication, there's radioactive iodine, and there's surgery. So for me, I opted for the first. So as time went by, the medication became lighter and lighter. I would go for my appointments on a monthly basis at the consultative clinic at Mata. As time went by, I was feeling much better. I accepted my condition, and I started going about my activities as normal. And with time, the medication from, I think, 20 tablets, it became 15 to 10 to 5 in a day. And currently I'm at 2 tablets in a day. The one that specifically lower or regulate those hormones in my body. My firstborn was, she was 7 and the baby was 3. I don't think the baby even realized I was unwell. Now, the angel at 7, I'm not even sure I put her down to, she knew I was sick, but I don't think I put her down to explain to her what I was going through. Yeah, but she saw changes around the house. She saw us hiring a driver to take them to school. She saw us asking our house help to stay in and stop coming and going every day. So many things were happening, and I can't really remember whether I sat down to take her through, but she knew Mommy was unwell. Because most of the time, I would be in bed, I was sick, and I had no energy. Their dad, who lives and works in Dar es Salaam, took time away to come and stay with us. So the hyperthyroidism is very complex, as you have said, as I've explained. Yeah? So I don't think they would have, even up to now, I don't think they really understand it. And all they knew is Mommy was sick, but I don't think they knew the details of what I was going through. And I wouldn't have done this without the support of my family. When you're going through what I went through, you need a very, very strong support system. I wouldn't have done this without my immediate family, my husband, my sister, my mom, my cousins, my nieces. They were amazing. They were amazing. It's been 6 years. I'm still fighting on. I'm soldiering on. I've not been able to go back to employment because sometimes the symptoms pop out. I get fatigue. If I'm hyper today, tomorrow I will be down. I don't think I can manage a regular 8 to 5 job unless probably I do something that is very light. Yeah, my body cannot allow me to be very active because I get drained. I've also experienced side effects from the medication, some headaches that will go because my condition is hormonal. So I've got acne. Sometimes I get melasma, which is hyperpigmentation of the skin. And when I look at where I came from and where I am right now, and I just thank God, because all those melasma and hyperpigmentation can be sorted out. We have makeup, we have foundation. So what is more important is where I've come from and where I am and the journey that is ahead of me. And as much as they say I have this disorder and I'll be on medication for life, I believe that sometimes miracles happen. The people who have gone into remission, yeah, with hyperthyroidism, with Graves. There are people who have lived normal lives once again. So I'd like to tell people who've gone through what I've gone through to accept the situation, accept the diagnosis. If you think that the doctor is not telling you what you think, or if you don't agree with him, don't be afraid to go for a second, third opinion, because it saves lives. Yeah, and once you accept your situation or your disease or your disorder, whatever you're going through, and you start the treatment, and you also have a change in lifestyle. They say light exercise is good. There are do's and don'ts on diet. They say gluten is bad, avoid bread, avoid this and that. If you keep to that, everything will be okay. But support system is also very, very important. That is what will take you through, and that is what will get you to where you want to be, even as you fight whatever you're going through.
Thanks for watching this episode. Remember, you can catch new Legally Clueless video episodes every Friday and new audio episodes every Monday.